שופטים, תשפ"ב, from ירושלים הבנויה, במהרה בימינו, amen. Sorry, I couldn't give the share live this week, but I will try to give you the max right here. This is, and we're going to take the last part of the Parasha talking about the Agla Arufa. The Agla that we used to take and basically chop the head from the back, not do the shchita, like paraduma, like anything, not chop the head from the back and spill its blood in a certain place. We're going to see in the psukim, and we're going to see what we have. There's so many difficulties. We're just going to take a few and deal with it. But the message for us that will come out is just amazing. You will be surprised at so many levels. Just going to learn with you the Parasha quickly, because this time it's not only a pasuk, we have to understand what's happening. If a cadaver is found in the ground, you can see already here, chalal, it means a space also. Ba'adama means inside the ground. So what happens if it's on top of the ground? Purposely, the pasuk will talk to us this way, because you're going to see what's hinted behind those words. Asher Hashem Elokecha noisen lecha lerishta. Wow, you had to tell me again. At Eretz Yisrael, you give it to me. You gave it to us as a heritage. Interesting. Noifel basade. Here we have a past tense. It was found, and here we have a present tense. It's like, oh no, you see the person basically being killed and falling on the field. So the other aspect is here it says ba'adama. Here it says basade. I mean, you got to choose your language. Lo noida mihika. We don't know who killed it. At that point, the yasu is a kenecha b'sheftecha. So I will shorten a bit the explanations here. So they were coming from the Sanhedrin, from Yerushalayim, Davka, and umadedu el he'arim. There is a mitzvah to calculate the distances, even if we know, even if there's only one city around the place where the cadaver was found, it's a mitzvah to measure from the body all the way to the city. Have you seen a mitzvah like this? I mean, every mitzvah has a purpose up there, we do something, but taking these zakenim, these Sanhedrin, instead of going to Beis HaMidrash and giving shiurim or going to Beis Din, they're going to have to take a tape measure, and in goodness sake, if he's in a midbar and he has to go 10 miles measuring with a stick, how long it's going to take them? Under the sun? No, it's a mitzvah, it has to be done. No explanation about it. Asher sevivoi sechalal, which are around the cadaver. We'll see what it means. And then the city that's close by, that's the closer to the body, found dead. Now again, we're taking the elders of the city. They will take eglas bakar. They're going to take an egla, which is a calf, female calf. But now he's not going to call it Arufa. He's going to call it eglas bakar. That's the only time you're going to see that language. Asher loy ubad ba, that hasn't been yet put to work. Asher loy mashcha be'oil, or no weight was put on it, nothing, exactly like the para aduma. But 1 second. We're going to see that this egla arufa, it's called arufa, means from the oiref, from the back of the head. This is where we take an axe and chop the head off. It's terrible. That's Egla Rufa. So automatically we make it an Evela. What do you care if we worked with this? Or you put a weight on it? I mean, we make it an Evela, which is a tremendous action, and we worried about tiny details that are not relevant. It's very trivial, this thing. But there's a whole process. And now, again, because in case you forgot that we're talking about Zikne Ha'ir Ha'i, we're going to tell you again, it's Zikne Ha'ir Ha'i, and it's going to be nonstop, this language. Because you may think it's from the other city that would come and would volunteer to do the Egla Rufa. They would take Es Ha'egla, so the female cow, El Nachal Eisan. Not going to have to explain you this thing. It's tremendous. Machlokes Rishonim and the Seides here tremendous. What is Nachal Eisan? But it's a forceful river, white waters, some type of things like this. So there's a lot of details in it also, just as much as the Egla Rufa. So I'm going to leave it aside for tonight. Asher lo ye'abed boy. So it has to be on a ground that was also never used. So Rashi explains in Psachim, in a few places, that we're talking about a land that's full of rock. Velo yizareya, that you're not allowed after that to plant. The arfusham, and then you're going to decapitate the egla ba nachal, in the nachal. The zekanim, we just said it's white, very forceful waters, for white waters, strong white waters. In Hilchos Yom Kippur, it says that even during the week, you're not allowed to cross a river that arrives to your knees. The depth is to your knees if it's white waters. If you have a big current, if you have the waters are, are type of angry, white waters. Now you want to tell me this is a tremendous nachal coming from the mountains, these big waters, probably from the melting of the snow and the glaciers. So you see the power of the water. So you want the zekanim, all the people, to go inside the river and there hold the calf, because the calf is not going to move. It's only 1 year old, according to Yehuda and Chachamim. It's 2 years old. So you're talking about a massive ox. And yeah, it's going to let yourself take him there and then decapitate him. What is this possible? Then it says, V'nikshu ha-kohanim b'nei Levi, the Kohanim sons of Levi, because you don't know that Kohanim of Bnei Levi, right? It's the first time we meet that subject in the Torah, that the Kohanim. And then Kibam Bachar Hashem Elokecha, we're talking about Egla Rufa. Why do you go sidetrack to the value of the Kohanim? We all know about this. We have many parashiyos from Tetzaveh on. We know the value of Kohanim and the Kedusha of Kohanim and everything. So why in the middle of the Parasha of Egla Rufa you come and interject that detail, which don't belong here? This is where it becomes interesting. Now, v'choil zikne ha'ir ha'i. Before, you didn't feel the need to tell me that all the Kenim had to participate in all the actions that were taking place about the Egla Rufa. But here, on this pasuk, you're telling me, you're pointing out that it has to be all of them. Why? So, v'choil zikne ha'ir ha'i, hakeroivim el hechala. Oh, because we forgot which city we speak about. In case you don't remember, it's the one that's close to the body. This whole Parasha is 9 psukim. How the heck can we forget that? We know which thing. You already said, Zikne ha'ir, that city. So I know it's the city that's close to the body because that's where the Zakim came from. So what do you come here to hint me with adding me words that are not necessary in this passage? Anyway, there's a funny process going on here. Yirchatzu yes yedehem. They have to wash their hands al ha'egla ha'arufa, on top of the egla arufa, ba nachal, in the nachal. So let me portray that. So the white waters are keeping on. They managed somehow to decapitate the ox, and now they're going to put down the ox. They're going to take a kli, and they're going to wash their hands, because it has to be, if you dip your hand in a mikveh, then you don't need a kli. But as soon as you take the water out to wash your hand, because it has to be on the ox, then you're forced to take a kli. And while you have the white waters running around, how is it possible? And no, they can't get out yet, because they have to say, the anu ve'amru, and they have to say, Yadinu, our hands, lo yishafchu es hadam. Look how shafchu is written here, with the hey instead of a vav at the end. Our hands didn't spill the blood. Why? It's hands that kill, or it's the person that killed? Who controls the hands? It's not the hands. So say, well, and do we have any suspicion about these elderlies that they would commit a crime? What's the purpose of these words that they have to say, we didn't kill him? And it's not only this, but no, we're going to suspect them that they saw from the side, from the city, that they saw this guy running after this guy and stabbing him with a sword. And they didn't do nothing. Though, because we're not involved, kaper le'amcha Yisrael, you have to pardon to the Bnei Israel. Asher Padisa. The depth on this pasuk is I could have said a share just on this pasuk. Here we're talking about the neshamas, because the Yotzei Mitzrayim that you redeemed. What do you mean, Am Yisrael that you redeemed? Those are already dead. Those that died in the midbar, they didn't even make it to Israel. So what do you mean, kaper le'amcha Yisrael asher padisa? You have to be mechaper on Bnei Yisrael that you redeem. Hashem. Ve'al titen dam naki, and don't give a clean blood. Bekerev amecha. Clean blood? Here I have a big question. We're talking about a victim. It's the blood of a victim. Call it that way. What's the problem calling it that way? Why do you call it naki? So he was not supposed to die. That's the touch in the pasuk. He was naki. Oh, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, though, at that time, we want to say that he had no hashgacha pratis on this world. He is on top of every detail of the world. How did he let a murderer kill a tzaddik, a person that doesn't deserve to die? How is it possible? And then again, you're going to see the Dam Hanaki. We're going to have to explain this. This is so just to start, I bring you the Mishnah in Soita. They're going to resume, and this is where I'm going to focus tonight on the shir, because you can focus on every detail. Ziknei Oisa Ha'ir. So the city that was closer to the cadaver, Roichatzines Yedehem Bamayim. They wash their hands in the water. You mean with water? In the water. Or because what do you wash your hands with? With wine? With the fruit juice? That's called washing the hands. You're dirty. Bimkaim arifa shel egla. At the place, so not on the ox, but at the place where the decapitation took place. The Oimrim, and they say, Yadenu lo yishafku. You see the Mishnah take back the same orthograph as a possible. and our eyes didn't see. The Mishnah asks, V'chi al datenu also, did we have a suspicion shezikne beis din sheifchim damim hem, that the elders of the beis din, the dayanim, are murderers? Look at the Mishnah, is going to go sideways. Eila, rather, what they say here is, he didn't come to us and asked us for help, and we would send him out without food. So he didn't die because of our actions. He didn't leave the city because we were meager with him, because we were stingy with him. No. So we have no part in this murder. And and we didn't see him leaving the city, and we did not accompany him. You will see the Inyan of Levaya. Someone who wants to see is with base, how far the Tanoim and the Amoraim, they were not doing just 4 steps. And I'll explain a little bit this subject because it's a very important, and it touches everybody's life on every day, and you're going to see what it does to a person. And then the Hakoyhanim Oibrim, and that Koyhanim, that Pasuk Kapalam Israel, it's not the Zakenim that say. The Mishnah says it's the Koyhanim. The Altiten Damnaki Bekiram Israel. And what it says at the end, Venikaper Lahem Adam, and then they will gain forgiveness for that blood. That they would not say themselves. Ela Ruach HaKodesh Mevasadai. Ruach HaKodesh was saying, after they did this whole process with the Egla Arufa and so forth, the Ruach HaKodesh would say, okay, you got kapara on the blood. Whenever you're going to do that process, Hadam miskaper lahem, they gain kapara for the spilled blood, for the murder. This Mishnah makes no sense. Makes no sense. We have a pasuk in Bamidbar stating exactly the opposite. The pasuk here says, "Vela aretz lo yechupar." You cannot gain kapara. Ladam asher shufachba, if blood was spilled on it, ki im bedam shayfchod. Only with the blood of the murderer. In other words, it's impossible, it's blood for blood. So even the Egla Arufa, the blood cannot be a kapara. We're not going to take the blood of an ox for the blood of a man. That's not the same value. So how can you tell me, your Mishnah, the Tanaim Magdoshim, how can they learn and tell me that the Ruach HaKodesh says, V'nikaper lahem adam? If the Zakenim had said that, or the Kohanim, means in terms of tefillah, please HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and forgive them for that blood, because they have not, taken part in this nasty act. They have no part in it. But if you say that Ruach HaKodesh says it, and it's affirmative that you gain kapara, then this pasuk totally contradicts that. There's another pasuk in Devarim. There are many psukim about this. I just brought two to illustrate that. Lo yisachos ein chalav. You cannot. So the Chazal learned from here. Lo titnu kofer lenefesh roitzeach. It's another pasuk. If the roitzeach wants to buy himself out, you can do a kofer nefesh. Someone who's chayev misa, he can give the value of his life, of his nefesh, and it would go on, so the money goes to tzedakah, to anything, and automatically the gzera that was on him is canceled. But For all the Averas, this is doable, besides one, killing. You cannot have mercy on him. If the goyel, Chazal say, if the goyel, meaning the relative of the victim was around, Basin had to give it to him to kill. You know what kind of a heart it takes. But this is the mitzvah of the Torah. We look at it as a human, from the human side. Oh, pity, this, that. But what this guy, what we're going to see, what this murderer had brought down to earth, he's not only a murderer of one person, he's a murderer of many people. And then it says here, Ubi'ata, and you will burn away. Dam Hanaki. You will burn away. You burn the chametz, via tahara, the bad, you burn it away. But the good blood, the blood of a victim, you burn it away. What are you stating here? Okay, before going back on the thing, I want to bring one more pasuk to show you the big mitzvah of levaya, that it needs to be done, and especially even when a relative, even a father, a mother, a son, a daughter, anyone leaves the house, it's a tremendous mitzvah. The more steps, the more power. There's a pasuk says, Ki malachav in Yosef V'Seiser, it's capital Tzadik Aleph. Ki malachav yitzavelach lishmocha bechol derachecha. Kodesh Baruch Hu sends a malach with a person when he goes on the way, because he's not at home and everything, so he's in danger. But there is a malach going on with the person. And the name of the malach is hinted, the last letters of these four words. Ki, Yud, malach vav, yetzave, hey, lach, and the chaf. So it's exactly his name in the right order. And so we strengthen the power of this malach to protect the person that's going to travel by going more step with the person, by almost taking him to the airport. By the more you stay with him to send him away, the more power and the more protection this malach gives. So some others, when before they leave, you can see, especially Hasidim, they say this Mama Chazal, Yachid ve'Rabim, Halacha ve'Rabim. If you take the first letters here, they say that purposely, because they mention the name of a malach. It's like whenever Bnei Israel say something with their mouth, automatically they generate movement up there, and they will do it. So this malach, Yud Vav Hei Chaf, same malach. That's why before they leave, you're going to hear people say Yachid Berabim Halacha Kerabim. Automatically, the malach knows he's been ordered to go and protect that person on its travel. Let's go back to the Zohar Kadosh in Parshas Vayigash. You'll remember when Yaakov sent away Yosef and never came back, and they came with a tunic full of blood. Yaakov went into tremendous lamentation for a long time, stating that Taref Teuf Yosef was eaten up by a behemoth, by an animal. Midrash there is fantastic, with the story with the wolf, Yaakov talking to a wolf mother, and the Shvatim trap. Anyway, I'm not going into this. So Taref Teuf Yosef was killed, and he says, "For Ered al Beini Aven She'oilo," and I will have a bitter end. explained the Zohar. Yaakov, the lamentation of Yaakov is, when I sent Yosef away, I sent him out without walking with him. And therefore, I am responsible for his death. When the Zekanim say, we haven't even seen that person in the city or leaving the city, because otherwise they will have a responsibility and we would not do a Egla Arufa. Why? Because the person that walks with his friend, with his friend that goes on the way, that person is bringing upon him the malach. And if he doesn't do it, he is in part a murderer. Wow. And because of this, we would not have the criteria of doing the Egla Arufa. And the Zohar ends on a very interesting point. When Yosef sent, after he revealed himself to the brothers and he sent the chariots to Yaakov, you look at the Rashi there, it says there was a little ox, female ox behind the chariot. And this was to remind Yaakov that they learned the sugya of Egla Arufa. Rashi, the Midrash says that. The Zohar says more than this. The Zohar says, he hinted his father, you know why I ended up in Mitzrayim? Because we were learning Egla Arufa, and that's exactly what happened to me. There was no Levaya. The Zohar want to stress out the point. How important is the Levaya to walk with the person? The minimum you can walk with him in order for the Malach to come down is 4 steps. Like Paro did to Avraham when he gave him back Sarah, he walked 4 steps. The Zohar said, because of this, he got 400 years the children of Abraham. Because the 4 steps call upon the upper powers. Yud-Ke, Vav-Ke, we're not going to go into the side of 4, I think we've been there quite enough times. I want to go back. Don't want to drain the cup with the more questions. I think we have plenty more than what we can take today. I just want to give a few answers. We asked the question toward the last psukim. This. Why is it different? Why we have a specificity here that is not in the other psukim? Why v'chol zikne ha'irai? Obviously, this pasuk contains some kind of message that's going to lead us on the way to understand this whole process. And this is also part, you're going to understand the part of Levaya, the importance to walk with someone, to send him on his way with full protection. I'm going to copy. I'm going to put it there. Okay, it's a different language. So it means the letters are not there to show me what it's written, but show me what their value is. Equals 525. Equal Hashem Tzevokis. This is the name of Rachamim for the person. Tzevokis is the name of war, is the armies, is the name against the dinim, protection. Here, the pasuk tells me that the real mission of the Zekanim is to bring back, because now there was a murder, there was a very bad act that was carried out among Am Yisrael. So he brings the Satan, because the Satan is saying, hey, I'm responsible to take the neshamas. Who's this guy? Why is he dead? I didn't kill him. So, someone else was Masi Gavul. Someone that came and did my job. And who is it? And we don't know. And even the Satan, even the Sitra Achra, they don't know who it is. Otherwise, he would go kill him right away. How did you dare step on my territory? But I want to show you a yesod that I think for me is the biggest yesod of, even though I'm going to explain you and tell you things that are going to blow your mind off, but I think for me, this is the biggest message in here. A person can achieve anything with tefillah, real tefillah. Yes, they have to do a very difficult process in order to bring the name of Hashem Tzevakis. Hashem Rachamim for the person, Bracha from the person, Shefa from the person, Tzevaka is protection from the enemies, protection from the Mazikim, protection from everything. Everything is included in Tefillah. Simple thing that we have to do with our mouth. And here we're going to see only that the mouth is going to be used. And the whole din will be carried out through the mouth only. But tremendous miracle are hiding behind these words, and they will take place. Sum them all up. One thing you can learn from this. Levaya is important. Yes, it's a mitzvah. You're saving a neshama, you're saving a yid. But one thing is important. Tefillah. Even, I forgot which in which sefer I saw this. I don't know if it's one of the Vishnitz Rebbe that said it. I can't remember which sefer. I'm sorry, but it just hits my mind. Share de Mois Lonin Olam. The sharim of tears are never closed. There's no doors. We had a share on this. There's no doors there. So there's no even malach standing at the door and select the tefillahs to see if they deserve to be, as we saw a couple of weeks ago, last week, a crown on the head of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Share de Mois, loininol. They go up. And the tefillah becomes a crown on the head of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We don't cry every day in the tefillah. By lev, so what do we do when there's xeris and all the doors, the 50 doors are closed of the bina, they're all closed. We daven, there's no point. The tefillah will not go through. Malachim have orders not to let the tefillah go through. However, he says in that sefer, if you have the key, you can open any door. There's never a door locked. The door is locked. Yes, it seems locked, but you have the key. So basically, it's not locked. What is the key? When a person comes, not because he only wants to ask for himself, not only when he wants, when he comes with deference to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, with anivis, when he comes with really pleading, chanina, he understands that everything from HaKadosh comes from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and there's nothing, as we're going to see the details in here, are going to show us the Hashgacha of HaKadosh Baruch Hu in every prat. That tefillah, that preparation, that feeling, that situation is the key to open. There's no door that will remain locked before such a thing, such a tefillah. So, for me, this is what we learn from the Zekenim, and this is how they daven to do all the miracles that we're going to see through. So, on that pasuk, we asked also another question. we said what it means, hakeroivim el hechalal. So now we have a tefillah, we have the shemes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and hakeroivim el hechalal is superfluous because we said that's seating. So I'm going to take these letters as numbers again, and equals 461. And very bizarrely, the number of this 461 is in this text. We said we have to take it to Nachal Eisan. Here is our Eisan here. What is the message? Message is very simple. What is the touch of Eisan? Look at Rashi. Choize kashe. You may have difficulties. You may have reasons. You may have problems that will take you out of your davening. That valid reasons according to halacha why you're davening, you're not concentrated that day. You cannot concentrate. Something happens in your life, whatever. You have to be misgaber on this. When you come before HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the value and the reward of tefillah is beyond understanding. He's sending his own names, the names that were during Kriyas Yamsuf, Hashem Tzevakos. Anything that touches our lives depend on these two names, Hashem Tzevakos, Simonum is going to say Hashem Tzevakos, Hashem Tzevakos, Hashem Tzevakos, Aneinu B'Yam Kareinu, whatever, the three. With Daria Kaddish goes ballistic in Shar Kavanis, not Psuke de Zimra. He says that in Karbonis. So Hashem Tzevakos, if a person has Hashem Tzevakos with him, he can walk anywhere. No animal will touch him. He will tell a lion, go attack that guy. He has a gun on me. The lion will go attack the person. You don't speak lion language. Hashem Tzevakos, HaKadosh Baruch Hu translated and say, it's a tremendous power. There is no boundaries and limitations of nature. These supersede all the rules and all the laws of nature. Someone needs to make a miracle. He has to be in the other place. Now, for the very life, I don't want to call it life matter or whatever, Hashem Tzevakos. Distances, time means nothing to Hashem Tzevakos. They were created by Hashem Tzevakos. So you can be there. And then we ask on the pasuk, they have to wash their hands al ha'egla ha'arufa banachal. And that's not what the Mishnah teaches. It's not on the egla. It's the makim where the egla, where the ox was decapitated. Banachal, in the nachal. And we ask all our questions on this. What does it mean? The Navi Zechariah says a tremendous pasuk. Ruach hatuma avir min haaretz. For you, a general rule, when you see the word ruach hatuma, you always know that we speak about the female nachash. We talk about the female of the Satan of the Yetzer Hara, which again and again, she's a Malach HaMaves. She is the worst. She can well overpower her husband, and so forth. And when HaKadosh Baruch Hu will reveal himself at that point, that's the one he will kill. I will remove from earth. Avir min haaretz equals 669. You know what 669 in that pasuk that we're dealing with? The very part, very part that don't make any sense. That you cannot touch in the process. Why? Because he wants to point us. The Torah wants to point us who's there. Once a person has been killed, the female of the Satan has taken place there. He says, now he's mine. Oh, what happens? He cannot go up anymore. Now, not only the murderer has done a tremendous avla to the victim by killing him, but he prevents him also from going up. And unless we give, we trade the blood of the murderer for the blood of the victim, he will not be released. You understand now why the pasuk says it's by laws of Shamayim and Aretz. It's impossible to forgive with anything he would do a Reitzeach, a murderer, because the victim himself is being held by the female of the Nachash, the Malach HaMaves, unless we give him the blood of the murderer. It's impossible to relieve him from his place, and he suffers tremendously, and he's asking the din on all Am Yisrael, because he's screaming, says the Tzara Amoyer, says he's screaming, Kel Nekama is Hashem, HaKadosh Baruch Hu is a revengeful God. And he tells people can hear it because we cannot hear Nefesh. He tells people, avenge my blood from this person, avenge my blood, and he doesn't stop. I'm going to give you, anchor this in a different way, and you will understand it. You remember Cain killed Havel. Cain was the first one who did the simili tshuva. Therefore, after HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, the blood of your brother is screaming to me from earth. What does it mean? He is trapped by the Nachash. He cannot go out to his place, and he's screaming to me, avenge me so the murderer dies so I can be freed and go up. Adam HaRishon, after Hevel was killed, how many years after did he have Shais, the next son? 130 years. Wow, he couldn't have children? Well, what happened to them? They lost a son. No. Somebody wants to get a nechama, gets many more. 130 years you go without having a son, having children. This shows you the power of the din of a victim once we leave him without avenging his blood. Hevel could not go up. Adam HaRishon cannot have children. The din of Hevel is on his head. How was Cain able to avoid the punishment? Because he did the first was to do tshuva. It says, Gadol avoni minasoi, my sin is too big to carry and everything. He lived another 130 years. Interestingly, you see, we're coming around, we're closing the circle here. So after these 130 years, Lemech, who was a blind guy, weird mice, on the next cycle, I'll give a share on this. He's blind, he has a little kid next to him, his grandson, and the grandson sees Cain with the cloth of Adam HaRishon, which he looked like a behemoth. So he gave him the direction. The blind guy, Lemech, shoots an arrow, boom, in the heart of Cain. They were magical. These are the clothes that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did. No, nothing could pierce them. Not even a sword. When they were wearing, that's why Esau stole them from Yitzchak and was wearing them during war. But just want to point that there are things that have been done that needs explanation here. So Lemech kills Cain. That very same day, he goes up Hevel, and Chava becomes pregnant. Now we understand, we start understanding the logic behind the Egla Arufa. All Bnei Yisrael are taken by this Ruach HaTuma, since there was a Maaseh like this, an Isser like this, an Avla like this that was done, as we are guarantor one for one another, we all are under the spell of the Nachash. And in order to free it, we have to bring the Egla Arufa. And what I'm telling you, you're going to see in the pasuk itself, because Venikaper lahem adam. The Mishnah says, that's the Ruach HaKodesh says. Interesting language. It couldn't be direct. No, it's kind of a past time. 480. It's almost the Gematria of Eretz Canaan, 1. Do you know that name? Here is her name. That's the wife of the Satan. She is the one, when we talk about Anias, we said poverty, we talk about the bread pass. Why someone who works on crumbs, because she owns that. She brings Anias. Which is worse than this. We said last week that there was 903 type of death. The Zohar says, Gematria Toitzos 903, and Anias is worse. So she's the Malach HaMaves, she is the one sending poverty to people, and she is the one on the Nefesh, and this is how you free her. You get rid of her with the blood of the Egla. But we asked the question, how do you free the blood of an animal for blood of a human? Look at a side in the Egla Arufa. If you take Egla Arufa and you open it up, Ayin, Gimel, this is the inside. Lamed, Pei for Egla, Arufa, Ayin, Reish, Vav, Pei, 1042. Exactly. All the names in the spheres. All the names of Hashem in the spheres. They all come down. This tremendous light comes there. Not even her would stay around. She takes off. In the Nukvadit Humarabba, she goes into the hole in the Tehoim and she hides there. So scared of the name of Hashem. Yud Kevavke comes down. Kehiye comes down. Kel in Chesed. So this is in Chochmah, this is in Bina, this is in Chesed, this is in Gvura. Netzachoid, Tzevakis, here's the name of Tzevakis. Shaka in the Yesoid, and Adnus in the Malchus. They all come to see, hey, they called upon us. We need to wipe out here some punks around here, what we were told. So we need to clean it up. Egla Arufa, the Dam, the Din, everything was wiped out. For me, I almost have shown here for the Nates, so I'm going to just give you a little nice conclusion that going to take you for Shabbos and really give you a good taste. We asked a simple question. You can see how Kadosh Baruch Hu on every detail, every side. Something happened, he gives us the solution, the remedy. The doors are closed, he gives us the key. He tells us where the key is for our tefillah to go in. We need the powers of the shemis. They're available to us. Come and serve yourself. Everything is laid out on the table. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has prepared everything. What happened to that poor person that get killed on his way? Why the names of Hashem did not protect him? Rashi in Bereshit says that the Tzelem Eloikim protects. The animals see the letters on the forehead of a person, and they know you can't touch him, and they won't touch him. They won't approach him. And you have the Rasha on the sea, so for them he became an animal, and he's food. Did it that. So we see that even that decision depends on Shammai. In that case, the murderer is only a shliach. He came from up there, the decision. Why? The Magid Mesharim, we all know the Beis Yosef used to learn with the Malach. It's called the Magid Mesharim. The whole Sefer was written about it. Everybody learns it. It's a well-known fact. So this Malach in Parshas Kisavoi is going to explain him the pasuk, and he's going to tell him the touch of this pasuk. We had a little problem with it before. Yodeinu lo yishafchu es hadam, and we say it's written, with a hey instead of with a vav. Now, it touches up like this. What a pity. What a shame that we the Beis Din did not kill him. Why? Because had we killed him, we would have corrected him, and he would have died from the side of the Kedusha, and we would have been able to take him all the way to Shammai, to the Gan Eden. Now that he was killed by a miserable murderer, and the Ruach HaTumah is there, he cannot go up. Well, that's what it means. Yes, we're talking about someone who was Chayiv Misa B'dei Shamayim. Indeed, the Magid Mesharim says, nobody dies like this. If someone did something that is Chayiv Misa B'dei Shamayim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will make it that he's going to meet his fate a different way. It says that's why those people you see using a knife to commit suicide and people dying in a thing with metal, which is considered the Chayiv Misa. So I don't want to dig into this right now, but so we're talking about a victim that is Chayiv B'dei Shamayim. Had he come to Beis Din, and because we were not able, because he didn't come to us, to look into his case, that's why he died. Because we would have turned it around the case until we would have found a schus and take the din away from him. That's the lamentation of the Zekeni. That's what he says, the Magid Mesharim. He reveals to the Beis Yosef that we're talking about a person that's Chayiv Misa. Says the Targum Yonasan. Before the Targum Yonasan, I forgot who said this, where it's brought down that the Ari HaKadosh brings it down in the Torah. And I remember that there was 2 times You remember I told you the old man is the old Zakenim are going to measure everything. Because once you measure, you call upon the name of Hashem. I don't want to get to my trace right now. I have to go. So Umadadu as Harim, right there, by doing this action, automatically you trigger. It's all name of Hashem here. It's 650. It's I said I'm not gonna say it. I say it's Kel Shakai in Beria, Kel Yutke Vavke in Oilama Yetzira, Kel Eloikim and Kel Adnos. So these are the names you bring down to come and help you. These are Yehudi. These are not names. These are Yehudi. It means for action. So when the Bnei Israel, the Am Yisrael was Zakai, then they used to bring only the Egla into the Nachal Eson, and the Egla by itself would walk, and they would follow it, and it would go to the Reitzeach. Even though, despite nobody knew where he was, but this was the miracle that was happening. There was no need to kill it. Once Bnei Israel were not 100% Zakaim, we used to decapitate the Egla Arufa from the belly. From the belly used to come a swarm of snails, all these kind of toilaim, serpent, but poisonous. And a long one would lead their way, and he would go all the way to the Reitzeach and go on him as a threat. And they would catch him, because if he would do anything, they would bite and they would kill him. So some of the Svarim, some of the Kubalim say they were killing him, and some say no, the Shoftim, the Beis Din was killing him. This is what happens in the Inyan of Egla Arufa. It's not we just kill and we do a kapara. No, we are getting the Reitzeach and we put the Reitzeach to death. At that point, his blood is spilled. The victim is freed because of what? Of the Egla Arufa. In other words, the Egla Arufa is not the mean to free the victim. Yes, indeed. The blood of an animal and the blood of a human don't have the same value. They're not equal. However, through the Egla Arufa, we always find the Reitzeach, and we can put him to death, and with that, free the victim. Have a great Shabbos, all of you. Amen.